APRocky just lit a match, and Drake is standing in gasoline. People are saying Stole Your Flow wasn't a song, it was an ambush. And the scariest part, Rihanna didn't calm it down. She co-signed the chaos with 4 words, and the internet heard a gunshot. Everybody thought they knew the full story with these 3. Drake moved on, Rihanna cut ties, Rocky didn't care. That was the clean version, the one folks repeated like it was settled history. But now, the narrative is twisting in real time because Rocky dropped Stole Your Flow like a brick through a window. No warning, no soft landing, no it's all love. And instead of Rihanna playing Switzerland, she pops up in the comments like she heard the shot and smiled. And look, let's keep it real. None of us were in the room. We don't know these people personally, but we do know what the internet is doing right now. Connecting dots Rocky didn't even have to draw, and making Drake look like the only one not holding a pen. Alright, let me break this down, because this is where people started saying this wasn't rap drama, this was personal. The moment Stole Your Flow hit, the timeline didn't even debate whether it was a diss. Folks went straight to forensic mode. Not is it about Drake, but how many ways is it about Drake? And that's the difference. When a diss is subtle, people argue. When a diss is sharp, people start screenshotting. So here are the lines fans say crossed the point of no return, allegedly. First, you stole my flow. That one right there, that's not even a joke, that's a label. That's Rocky basically stamping Drake with something Drake hates being stamped with, unoriginal. And think about it, in hip-hop, that's not small. It's not you copied my shoes, it's you borrowed my aura. And if the internet decides you borrowed your aura, you don't get that back easy. Then the Rihanna references show up. Again, reportedly, allegedly, people are saying, but the way it's framed is what makes it cold. It doesn't read like heartbreak, it reads like territory. Because Rocky isn't just saying, I'm with Rihanna. He's saying, I'm with Rihanna and I'm calm. That little calm flex, my baby mama Rihanna, so we unbothered? Listen, that is a power move disguised as peace. That's like smiling while you lock the door from the inside. Now here's where it gets even crazier. Rocky doesn't come out and say Drake's name. He doesn't need to. He does something way more dangerous. He gives the internet permission to weaponize the song for him. Because when Rocky gets asked about it and says it's for whoever feel like it's about them, that's not neutrality. That's a trap. Translation in internet language is basically, if you feel hit, you were the target. And fans online have been acting like full-blown investigators ever since. They're lining up lyrics next to old interviews, they're pulling up clips, they're comparing cadence, flow pockets, even ad-libs, like it's some CSI mission with studio headphones. I saw people online claiming they ran flow pattern matching, and they swear there's like 78% similarity between the accusations in Rocky's bars and the exact critiques Drake's had thrown at him for years. Is that scientific? Probably not. But does it sound convincing enough to spread? Absolutely. And the way the song is structured matters too, because fans say Rocky didn't just toss a jab, he built a whole performance around humiliation. He's not yelling, he's not spiraling, he's talking like somebody who already packed your stuff in a box and left it on the curb. That tone, that hits different. A rapper being loud is expected. A rapper being calm while he cuts you, that's what scares people. Now, let's add the timing, because timing is everything in these internet wars. This didn't drop in a quiet moment. It dropped when fans were already primed, already arguing about diss records, already arguing about who's really running the culture. So when Rocky slides in with Stole Your Flow, it lands like a continuation of something bigger.
And that's why people are saying Drake got ambushed. Not because he can't respond, but because the story got written around him before he even opened his mouth. And if you're Drake, that's dangerous. Because Drake's brand is control, narrative control, cool control, strategic control. But when the internet decides you're being laughed at, the control starts slipping through your fingers in real time. And honestly, the song could have just been rap talk. But then, Rocky did the one thing that turns rap talk into real talk. He let the question hang. No denial, no y'all reaching, just silence with a smirk. Which brings us to the real reason this is blowing up. Because fans aren't just reacting to lyrics, they're reacting to what the lyrics represent. Friends became enemies, lovers became weapons, and one of the biggest stars alive might be getting played in public, with a song as the knife. Now, let's get into the motive, because this is where everything starts clicking, allegedly. This didn't start in the studio. This started in rooms we never saw. private conversations, silent competitions, little comments that don't mean anything until years later when you realize they meant everything. Once upon a time, the internet remembers Drake and Rocky as not enemies, more like orbiting stars. Same scene, same era, same we're next up energy. And then Rihanna is right there in the middle of the mythology, not as a side character, as the main symbol. Because in pop culture, Rihanna isn't just a person. She's a scoreboard. She's a crown. She's a moment you either got or you didn't. And people online love to act like men in rap only beef over respect. But let's keep it real. Sometimes it's not respect. Sometimes it's embarrassment. Because there's a type of loss that doesn't show on paper. The kind where you don't just lose the relationship, you lose the story. You lose the fantasy people attach to you. You lose the what could have been. And if Drake is one of the most narrative-driven artists ever, if his whole brand is emotional confession, romantic scars, the guy who got away with being sensitive in rap, then Rihanna being the one that got away, that becomes more than personal. That becomes branding. Now add Rocky to that. Rocky isn't just another rapper. He's style. He's cool. He's taste. He's that fashion week confidence where you don't even look like you try. So imagine you're Drake, again, allegedly, reportedly, people are saying, and you already deal with critiques like he's calculated, he's corporate, he's pop wearing rap clothes. Then Rocky is sitting there like the opposite vibe, effortless, unbothered. And then Rocky gets Rihanna, publicly, kids, family, real life. That kind of contrast, that can make an old wound feel fresh. And this is why fans are reading Stole Your Flow like it's not just about music, it's about identity theft on every level. First, you stole my flow. Okay, music theft. Then the Rihanna lines. Okay, emotional territory. Then the calm flexing. Okay, dominance. Put all that together and it looks like the perfect recipe for a public power move. Not I'm mad, more like I'm done pretending we cool. And it gets worse for Drake if the internet narrative sticks, because Drake's best weapon has always been response time. He's quick, he's witty, he's online, he knows how to turn the room. But in this situation, any response could be a trap, because if he responds too hard, he looks pressed. If he responds too soft, he looks scared. If he ignores it, people say he's panicking. That's what makes this whole thing feel like chess, not rap. Now, I'm not saying Rocky sat down like a villain and planned out a movie scene, but fans are saying this felt engineered. The title, the timing, the tone, the Rihanna connection sitting in the background like a loaded weapon. And honestly, Rocky doesn't even have to win lyrically. If the public perception becomes Drake got sunned, then Rocky already achieved the main objective, the internet doing the damage for him. Because hip-hop is music, but it's also perception, and perception is a currency you can't buy back once it starts bleeding. Here's the part that hits different, because this isn't just three rich celebrities throwing subs. This is the internet watching a triangle where nobody has to say names and everybody still feels the sting. And the reason people are reacting so hard is because it touches a nerve a lot of folks recognize. That moment when you realize you're not just competing, you're being compared. And comparison is brutal. Fans aren't just debating bars, they're debating a storyline. Who really won Rihanna? Who really moved on? Who's really unbothered? And the darkest part is, the unbothered person doesn't usually announce it, they just live. So when Rocky says it in the song, "So we unbothered," it doesn't feel like reassurance. It feels like a knife turned sideways. Like he's saying, I'm not even mad, I'm just reminding you what you don't have. And Drake's silence makes it louder, because silence in these moments isn't neutral. Silence is a canvas, and the internet loves painting on it. People start projecting. He's hurt, he's plotting, he's scared, he's above it, he's losing control. And none of that has to be true for it to be damaging, because perception spreads faster than truth. And honestly, if you're a fan of any of them, this gets messy emotionally. Because Rihanna isn't just a name in a diss. She's a human being with a family, kids, a partner, a life that's bigger than rap wars. So when her name becomes a trophy in a lyrical fight, folks get uncomfortable. Not because it's shocking, but because it's familiar. We've seen relationships become weapons. We've seen people get dragged into narratives they never asked for. And once the internet decides you're part of the storyline, it doesn't let you leave quietly. That's why one little comment from Rihanna, one tiny moment can feel like a thunderclap. Because it's not just celebrity gossip, it's the internet watching somebody possibly pick a side without ever saying they picked a side. Now this is where things get interesting,
because the internet didn't truly explode until Rihanna stepped into the frame. Under the "Stole Your Flow" visualizer, Rihanna comments, "I mean, that's it. No paragraph, no clarification, no y'all stop, just that." And listen, people can pretend that's nothing, but on the internet, nothing is nothing. Everything is a signal. And fans immediately interpreted it like approval, support, a public green light. Because if Rihanna wanted to shut it down, she could have. If she wanted to neutralize it, she could have. Instead, she added gasoline with a smiley face made out of letters. Now, before anybody gets carried away, allegedly, reportedly, speculation, Rihanna didn't say Drake. She didn't say Rocky. She didn't say this is a diss. But the internet doesn't need direct language. The internet needs vibes. And fans claim they felt it like a way of saying, yeah, I saw that. And it gets even crazier when you watch how fast the fan investigations escalated after that comment. Folks started building timelines like it's a courtroom exhibit. They pulled up Rocky's earlier moments that people say sounded like jabs, lines, interviews, little comments. Drake's Rihanna-centric bars. Fans swear he's never fully let that storyline die. Then rumors about Drake having shots tucked into other diss records, allegedly aimed at Rocky. Now, do we have a signed affidavit from anybody? No. But do we have a pattern the internet loves? Absolutely. Because the pattern looks like this: Cold War, sneak disses, polite industry smiles. Then one day, somebody stops being polite, and fans are saying "Stole Your Flow" was that moment. Also, the "whoever feel like it's about them" line, that became the internet's favorite quote because it's basically built for meme culture. It flips the responsibility. It turns the accused into the confessor. If Drake says, "This is about me," then he confirms it. If Drake says it's not, people say he's lying.
If Drake says nothing, people write the ending without him. And that's why folks are calling it psychological. Because it's not just about punching, it's about forcing someone into a position where any movement looks like weakness. Online detectives even started comparing cadence choices and beat pockets, claiming Rocky's delivery was strategically designed to mirror Drake's style, just enough to make the "stole my flow" accusation feel extra humiliating. Like Rocky was saying, "I can do your thing," while calling you a thief. Again, speculation, but it sounds believable, and believable spreads. Then you've got the fan theories about the Rihanna angle being the ultimate shield, because if Drake responds and mentions Rihanna, he risks looking obsessive. If he avoids Rihanna, people say he's scared of the truth. If he tries to joke, people say he's deflecting. It's like Rocky positioned the board so Drake has no clean square to step on. And here's another layer: industry politics. Because Rihanna isn't just Rihanna, she's brands, she's cultural power, she's a whole economy. So if the internet believes Rihanna is backing Rocky even subtly, that shifts public opinion fast. People start acting like it's not Drake versus Rocky, it becomes Drake versus the couple. And that's a different fight. Because 2 against 1 isn't just numbers, it's symbolism. The image of Drake as the outsider, the guy on the outside of the family photo. And that image? That hits different. Now, this whole situation gets even wilder when you zoom out and look at how the internet recycles history. Because fans didn't just react to "Stole Your Flow." They started resurfacing everything. Old clips, old lyrics, old rumored tensions, and stacking it like receipts. And I gotta say, whether it's true or not, the internet is treating this like a long-running soap opera with a season finale finally aired. People started bringing up moments where Drake's lyrics felt stuck, like he was talking to somebody without saying the name. Then people started bringing up Rocky's calm confidence, the way he moves like he doesn't even need to argue. And the contrast is what feeds the drama. Because Drake is the guy who narrates, Rocky is the guy who poses. So when Rocky drops a song that feels like a statement piece, fans take it as he's above this. But when Drake stays silent, fans take it as he's losing. Is that fair? Maybe not, but fairness isn't what goes viral. A storyline goes viral. And honestly, this is how online narratives become reality. Not because they're proven, but because they're repeated with confidence. One person tweets, "Rocky just cooked Drake." Another person quotes it, "Rihanna co-signed." A TikTok edits the comment over dramatic music. Then a blog posts, "Fans think Drake was ambushed." Then everybody acts like it's confirmed. That's why you gotta be careful with what you believe, but also why these celebrities can't escape it.
Once the algorithm chooses a villain and a winner, you're fighting a machine. And it gets even crazier when you realize how much of this is about timing and audience mood. Rap fans right now are already in battle season mentally, so anything that smells like disrespect becomes a headline. Rocky could have dropped the exact same song in a different month, and it might have been cool bars. But right now, it's being treated like a declaration of war. So the side story isn't just old lyrics. The side story is the internet's hunger. Because the internet doesn't just want music, it wants a moment. It wants a screenshot. It wants a side to pick.
Rihanna's comment? That's the screenshot. That's the meme. That's the thumbnail fuel. 4 words, and suddenly the story is bigger than the track. And this story is still unfolding with way bigger implications than just one song and one comment. What we're watching is how fame turns relationships into public property. Because even if none of this is confirmed, even if it's all speculation, the narrative still does damage. Not with facts, with pressure. This is the danger of internet culture. It rewards the loudest interpretation, not the most accurate one. It rewards the spiciest theory, not the safest truth. And for artists, that's a trap. Because if you respond, you feed it. If you don't respond, it grows anyway. So the bigger conversation becomes, how much control do celebrities actually have over their own stories anymore? Drake can drop a song tomorrow, and the internet will still read it through this lens. Rocky can say it's not about anyone, and people will say that's exactly what he would say. Rihanna can stay silent, and the silence becomes a statement. And brands watch this too. Labels watch this. Feature requests, award show politics, who stands next to who's allowed to look cool this year. Because hip-hop doesn't just run on music, it runs on alignment. And if the public believes Rihanna is aligned with Rocky in this moment, whether she meant it that way or not, that becomes a cultural push. It becomes momentum. It becomes the wind at someone's back and the storm in someone else's face. So yeah, it's entertaining, but it's also a warning. The more you play with subliminals and internet hints, the more you risk the internet turning your life into a sport. And once you're a sport, you don't get to control the rules. So now we're at the part where the story collapses into one huge question. Is Drake about to respond, or is he avoiding a trap? Because Rocky is playing this like he doesn't need confirmation. He refuses to say it's Drake, refuses to say it's not. And that's what makes it nasty. It keeps the pressure on Drake without giving Drake a clean target. You can't shoot back at smoke. And people are saying Drake's silence right now isn't peace, it's calculation or panic, depending on who you ask. But either way, silence is getting interpreted as weakness. That's the internet's favorite thing to do, turn a pause into an L. Now theory time, allegedly, reportedly, speculation only. Some fans believe Drake already recorded something and he's waiting for the right moment. Others think he's refusing to respond because bringing Rihanna into it directly would make him look obsessed. And then there's the third group, the ones who believe this whole thing is bait, that Rocky wants Drake to swing so Rocky can swing back harder with receipts. Because remember, the headline vibe is war with receipts. And in 2026 internet culture, receipts are the nuclear weapon. Not bars, not metaphors, receipts. If Drake responds and Rocky drops proof of something, anything, real or not, alleged or not, the internet will run with it like it's gospel, and that's career-defining territory. But if Drake doesn't respond at all, then fans will decide the ending for him. Rocky won, Rihanna chose, Drake got played. And once the internet stamps a story like that, it takes forever to wash off. So either way, the damage is already happening, not because of what's confirmed, but because of what people believe is happening. And look, this story is not finished. It's not even close, because the moment Drake moves, drops a line, posts a caption, gets seen in public, the internet is going to treat it like evidence. And the moment Rocky breathes near a microphone, people are going to treat it like another warning shot. And Rihanna? Every comment, every like, every silence, it's all going to get dissected like it's code. So I gotta ask you, do you think Stole Your Flow was a straight-up Drake diss, or do you think the internet is forcing that narrative? Do you think Rihanna's I mean Ville was a cosign, or was it just her being playful and people took it nuclear? And if Drake responds, does he win by going lyrical, or does he expose something? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I already know this is going to be split down the middle. And make sure you like the video,
hit subscribe and turn on notifications because the next update could land at any moment, and when it does, it's gonna flip the whole storyline again. Stay locked in, stay sharp, and remember, on the internet, the loudest story becomes the real one unless somebody shows up with a louder truth.